It's a bit hard, darling. Good evening, mate. Today I'm going to discuss a game I just played against jhaniv, which is a person, I believe, from the South Asia region. I'm from Southeast Asia, by the way, and I'm from Indonesia. So it's nice to have somebody who has a similar climate and culture to play with. And in this game, jhaniv was white, and I believe I was black. And by the way, the things that I said was a presumption. I didn't actually really chat in depth with him or with her regarding where he comes from or where she comes from, but I just presume. So the interesting thing about this game is jhaniv is actually playing very well in the opening and in the middle game, and even until the end game. However, there is just a single move at the end game that turns the table around, which I believe is a fascinating thing to discuss about. So there is one blunder, I suppose you call it blunder, if because of that one move the situation turns around. So let's just have a look in this game on how it's actually happened. I'll move it to the move list and see if we can go from there. So e4, e6, d4, b6, knight c3, bishop b7, fidgeting the bishop and trying to attack. And so far, as you can see from the previous graphic, that white is always having a lot of advantage until just that one move. So I believe I'm quite lucky. So bishop d3, c5, challenging the center. d5 and then f5 was considered a blunder because, of course, there is the strong bishop there, and it's going to attack my stronghold. E takes if f5, knight f6, f takes e6, d takes e6, knight f3, knight takes d5, knight takes d5 as well. Bishop takes d5 there. See, it will turn like this. Castling king side. Okay. Bishop d6, and of course trying to castle king side as well. Now bishop g5 is considered a blunder because my reply would be a defending move or escaping move at the same time as attacking move, which is queen goes to c7. It is actually considered a blunder, but yeah, it's quite strong in my opinion. It's attacking the pawn at h2. g3 is, I believe, a defensive move as far as I can understand, but at the same time it's actually weakening the knight at f3, and it's actually weakening the main white square diagonal, and as it can be seen later on, it will prevail, the weakness will prevail, and you can witness that by yourself. So castling king side as well, double attacking at the same time as double attacking the knight at f3. Knight h4 is, I believe, a mistake because that knight is actually quite I can understand the reasoning behind it. I mean, the knight will be used to attack my king side, but I can sort of utilize that hole in the that is left because of the move of the knight, and which will be used for the final blow later on. Knight d7 here, with the idea, of course, is to prevent the queen going to h5, which already happened before the knight comes there. But then, my knight comes there anyway. And at f6, bishop takes, of course, and then rook takes, and of course queen takes h7, which is the weak square. But I'm not really worried about this because I believe I have a strong rook there. So my king can go to f7, bishop g6, rook takes g6, queen takes g6, and then my king just hide. It's not like an immediate danger. I know I'm down by a minor piece, and at this time actually, white is winning by 5 pawns in relative to black. But um, I was just still playing, and I don't give up. Queen goes to g5. It's not an accurate move, I believe. So I simply move my rook to f8, just trying to build up a possible attack by utilizing the fact that the knight is actually not doing anything there, sitting at the passive square of h4, and it's really got no good square to go. And see how it goes. If the rook at a goes to d1, maybe it's trying to build an attack. Bishop e7 there, skewering the queen and the knight at the same time. And I want that knight to be off the board, which happens. Now, queen b7 is deemed as inaccuracy, but I believe it has some purpose, which is, of course, trying to position my bishop at h1, and if my bishop goes there, then my queen can comfortably sit at g2 later on for a checkmate. And it is quite an interesting setup because it utilizes this white square diagonal, which I believe has been discussed before, which is left by the knight, and is actually there is a hole there because of the move of g3, which weaken the main white square diagonal. And I'm going to utilize this now. c4 is move, of course, is an attack that is not strong because, of course, the next move is bishop h1. And what can white do from here? Now queen goes to h3, and rook rook f6, I believe, is not a strong move because the next best move for white is rook goes to d8 check, and I have to move. There's no other way. I have to move to f7, and after that, simply there could be a double up on rook, or by moving the rook at f goes to d1. But I don't know, somehow there is a mechanical or a mechanical retardation here. Just so the rook just goes to d3 instead of checking me at d8, and I simply go on with my plan, which is rook goes to h6. So this is actually the biggest blunder that white actually made in this game. I'm not really sure why, but instead of moving the rook going to d8, the rook simply just didn't go to the last rank. It just went to the third rank, and all of the just this small thing makes all the difference basically by not winning a tempo. I mean, I'm down by a minor piece. I'm down by 3 pawns, and white is actually winning. White has the initiative, but by simply not using the initiative, even though it's got a lot of material advantage, then I simply can punish the tempo that I have from here. So rook d3 was moved, and I simply move the best and the only move that I can utilize to win the game, which is rook goes to h6. And this move is particularly strong because it is firstly attacking the queen at h3, which is the only piece guarding the square g2 to avoid a checkmate. Now, if queen dares to move anywhere, basically, then there will be my next move will be b queen goes to g2, and it will be a checkmate. Unless, of course, there is some other move that white can do, which is the only move is also only checking me by moving the queen and the rook to d8. So this is basically a loss for white, because my simple move of rook h6 is actually exploiting the vulnerability of white, where there is one weak square and the only piece that is guarding it is actually being kicked away. And for losing a tempo, white is actually being punished for doing this thing. Unfortunately, well, that's the game of chess. Sometimes you utilize the tempo weakness that is done by the opponent, even though you're losing materially. But if you have a checkmate and the opponent doesn't actually have a guard against it, then you win. It's very simple. It's got a clear objective. So here goes the story is short. Rook goes to d8 check, and then king goes to h7, and there's no other move. Queen has to take, and of course king takes. Rook h8 check. It's a spy check, basically. There's no other move. King g6, and of course desperate attempt to avoid checkmate f3, but my bishop can simply take f3. Rook takes f3, and then queen takes f3, and that's all over. Basically, the advantage have turned around, and that's the end of the game. So a beautiful game, I suppose, and it shows precisely how to actually utilize tempo and being able to kick the defender of a very important square away, even though you're losing in material. And that's actually a counterattack, and that's a beauty of playing as a black piece. Even though you are losing tempo, you're losing material, but if you've got a counterattack, then the opponent will be punished immediately. So thank you so much for playing with me, jhaniv. It's very nice to play with you. It's been a good game, and I'll see you later.